YouTube! There are two types of gaming laptops. You know, the one that tries its hardest not to look like a gaming laptop, and then there's the one that full on embraces the fact that it's a full on gaming laptop. That right there is the ROG Strix 18, and this is by far my favorite gaming laptop to date. Now, it has a CPU capable of not only gaming, but also productivity, you know, and creative tasks such as video editing and whatnot. And that's in the Intel Core Ultra 9. It has a more than capable current gen GPU with the RTX 5080. Now, you could get a 5090 if you want it. It's an option. But this 5080 has 16 gigabytes of VRAM and a TGP of a max of 175 watts. Now, last year, I tested the 4090 variant of the Strix 18, and that was hands down the best gaming laptop I had ever used. Understand this, last year's 4090 mobile GPU had 16 gigabytes of VRAM and a max TGP of 175 watts, which is identical to the 5080 mobile GPU inside of this 2025 variant. Now, I'll point out a few more separating factors between this year's model and last year's model just to set the tone, right? Now, there are 2 Thunderbolt 5 ports versus last year's 1 Thunderbolt 4 port. And this has Wi-Fi 7 versus last year's Wi-Fi 6E, which honestly, both of these Wi-Fi technologies have been great in my honest opinion, except Wi-Fi 7 does have a competitive edge or a slight edge in overall speeds and lower latency. So if latency is something you're super big about, then Wi-Fi 7 is probably gonna speak a little bit more to you. Now, this has PCIe 5.0 support for SSDs, although it ships with PCIe 4 SSDs in here, but they have a speed up to 7,000 megabits per second. So who's complaining? There's a full HD IR camera with Windows Hello support inside of this thing versus last year's 720p camera. Yeah, so if you want facial, you know, unlock and whatnot, you can do that here. This also has a QLatch toolless access design, which makes swapping and adding SSDs and RAM chips in this thing super easy. Now, the RGB is improved with a full surround lighting and the Anime Vision display, which I absolutely love this combo. It looks so good from the back. I hate to see you go, but I love to watch you walk away, if you understand what I'm saying when it comes to this laptop. And last but not least, this has the same Nebula HDR display, but it's actually not the same Nebula HDR display because this has a dual layer ACR coating, which reduces reflections and it enhances contrast by 4.5 times, which is a significant amount. And listen, I guess it might be a little bit of spoiler, but I absolutely love this display panel. It is, we'll get to that in just a second. Listen, let me stop glazing though, but I'm being like 100%, y'all know how it is. So before I break down what's in this beast, and I wanna share my raw and honest user experience up front, as I think this is the most important topic. It's always my number one topic is user experience. Now this thing right here is thick and it's a hefty laptop, but it's absolutely worth it. The lapability is great, new word, meaning that it's nice in the lap. It sits very well balanced, and the 18-inch screen is phenomenal. It's my favorite laptop screen, and it would be an absolute lie for me to say anything other than that. Like, I love consuming content, whether it's Twitch streams, YouTube videos, any type of video on this panel. It's super bright, it's super vibrant, the clarity is so crisp. Y'all saw how I was kind of trying to get to this point. Speaking of how good this panel is a little bit, you know, a few sentences ago. But the accuracy, color accuracy, all of that on point. Now, let me break it down for you. Just for context, this is a 16 by 10 mini LED 2.5K 2560 by 1600, 240 hertz, 3 millisecond response time, 100% DCI P3, 1200 nit peak brightness with NVIDIA G-Sync. Now, there's a game visual setting inside of the Armory crate, which allows for 6 graphical tune profiles, and default is my favorite by far. It looks amazing when gaming and can handle any gaming format, whether it's graphically intense like AAA titles Or if you want to get competitive and crank high frame rates and high performance and, FPS titles like COD or Marvel Rivals, whatever, you know what I mean? There's a bunch out there. But literally, I swear, this thing has handled everything that I've thrown at it, and everything looks great. Everything performed great, and the brightness levels. Oh my goodness, this is the beauty of mini LED versus OLED. And it shines. And literally, I mean, it shines. This thing's bright. But I love it, even as an OLED fanboy. And that's a bold statement for me. Y'all know, y'all see my monitors of choice that I've chosen to review on this channel. But that's enough Nebula HDR display glazing for me. I'm a chill, y'all. Now, performance. That's another area in user experience that was, listen, I'm gonna put it to you like this. I'm gonna be 100,000% with you. Like last year, I had the 4090 model of the Strix Scar 18. Obviously, this year I would have loved, or I was more in preference of the 5090. But the 5080 model in this thing has yet to disappoint me. I'm gonna just put it that way for context. As far as someone who is a 4090 user and obviously wanting like the 5090 to continue that tier of performance, man, this thing has done what it's supposed to do and has delivered. Now, you're essentially running on a 2.5K environment, which is closer to like 1440p gaming, and you might even down res this thing and do a little slight upscaling if you're trying to crank crazy FPS in, first person shooters and whatnot. But all in all, my gaming experience did not suffer none the least. I was able to play whatever I usually would at my desktop PC here on this thing, and it was just as fluid as ever. And fluidity matters to me most when it comes to this. How smooth and how just normal my gaming experience is compared to my desktop PC, that matters the most to me. And that's what you get absolutely with this machine right here. Listen, I play a lot of games upstairs too. Not only when I'm down at my gaming thing, when I'm upstairs, I'm unable to be at this big old, PC. So typically I would have a small form factor PC up there with a monitor, but that's even still a lot more taken up on the island. Yeah, I know, in the kitchen and whatnot. So having this laptop in this true small form factor, I know this still is a beast of a laptop, but this is perfect if you need a gaming system that's mobile and performs just as good as your desktop system. So I'm able to remove all of that small form factor bulk and reduce it down to this and still get the same fluid gaming experience. Now, obviously it's in a different form factor and, a different setup, but the gaming experience is the same. And that's even over Wi-Fi when I'm plugged into my mesh node, like literally I'm good to go. So I just had to give flowers to this, laptop, this gaming laptop, and the gaming user experience by far. It's the most least obtrusive way that I can set up upstairs, and I still am locked in. You feel me? So I'm currently in GPU only mode, which means this thing exclusively uses the RTX 5080 inside of it and bypasses, the iGPU or whatever. So basically Optimus is off for me. And this takes more power. So you've been warned. I'm just letting you know, disclaimer out there, but it allows for G-Sync and it puts everything onto the 5080. But you do have the option to allow the system to switch between, the two GPUs, allowing for better battery life and efficiency. And since we're here, let's talk about it, right? Battery and efficiency. There are many settings and modes incorporated by Asus to give you better efficiency and better battery life. You just have the option to use them. You got to choose to use them, or like me, you can choose not to use them and just unlock full power at the cost of more power being used, more battery being used, if you get where I'm going, right? When I'm plugged in, I'm in turbo mode. So we're plugged in right now, but actually I cranked this thing into silent mode just now. So, no fan noises while we talking. But turbo mode cranks the fans and it cranks performance, yielding the best frame rates. And for me personally, the best gaming experience, because I'm just one of those people, I just want the most frame rates I could get when I'm playing competitive. on COD, but it's not necessary, right? When I'm not plugged in, the default is silent mode, which limits CPU and GPU power and makes all fans completely silent, which is basically like casual mode, watching content, scrolling the web, just chilling, right? That's typically where I'm at, and that's typically when I'm unplugged. Now, you can also switch it to performance mode, which for me personally is the most balanced mode. It balances temps and it balances acoustics. Performance mode is probably the most ideal mode when you're not in the necessity for silent mode, right? So unplugged, obviously silent mode, but if I were to like crank into something a little bit more taxing and pulling, this thing knows, okay, we gotta switch to performance mode. But performance mode is probably the best middle of the road setting. And also when you look at performance mode versus turbo mode, as far as, you know, like performance and benchmarks, it's like turbo mode has a slight advantage, but performance mode is like keeping up right there. Just to kind of give you guys a different perspective on it. When it comes to battery life, there are going to be multiple outcomes. Let's be real, this is a gaming laptop that has a lot of gaming power that you have the option to turn all the way up, keep it middle, or, you know, tone it down. So different users, different outcomes, different settings, different, you know, results. But essentially, you know what I mean? For me personally, this is a gaming laptop and basically high performance and quicker battery drain. That's what I'm gonna do. That's how I'm running it typically. Now, if you unlock full power or GPU only mode, battery will obviously drain quicker. Now, if you enable all of the balance settings and modes, I'm sure you can extend that battery life, but I'm here for performance. I'm here for frame rates, okay? Now, you know, I do this on every gaming laptop, but this gaming laptop has a 90 watt hour battery with a 380 watt power adapter that can charge this battery up to 50% in 30 minutes. So keep that in mind. So even though, yes, the battery can drain quite quickly in general, you can get 50% of that battery back in 30 minutes on that massive power adapter. And believe me, if you're like me and you like to crank things, you're gonna get to know that power adapter quite well, because you're probably gonna plug in, you know what I mean, to use turbo mode and whatnot, and to just maintain gaming sessions for longer. Hopefully that kind of generalizes battery life for you. I mean, I feel like there's no definitive answer, but I also feel like with gaming laptops and gaming users or high performance users, or maybe not even, I mean, again, there's different gamers out there and stuff. If you're more balanced, you get a more balanced battery. If you're more power intensive, you're gonna drain your battery, basically, simply put. Now, I wanna talk about the design of this laptop for a second. It's a nice, like, satin, kind of matte black type vibe, and I love it. Now, yeah, on the internal, you can get some fingerprints on here, so keep the microfiber on handy, but they're not terrible, you know what I mean? And it's pretty low-key without the RGB and the anime vision. When that's off, this thing is pretty chill, right? But when you turn those on, I love that combo. This thing looks so good. Honestly, when I walk away and I come back to this laptop, basically I get a visual of that back. That back is nice, you know what I mean? And the touchpad on here is really big and smooth to the touch, and it's very responsive as well. And the keyboard travel is just fine. It has a slight tactile feel, which I like, and it's not obnoxiously loud at all. And the port layout on this thing is plentiful. You got 2 Thunderbolt 5 ports with DisplayPort and Power Delivery 3.1. You got 3 USB Type A 3.2 Gen 2 ports at 10 gigabits per second. You have 1 2.5 gigabit Ethernet port. You have 1 HDMI 2.1 port. You have a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack and the handy proprietary Asus power jack. So what other ports could you need other than an SD card? I will shout that one out. Now, this is a 4-speaker system with 2 tweeters and 2 woofers with Dolby Atmos. And honestly, even in turbo mode with the fans blasting, you can hear your gaming. Although performance mode is probably the most ideal mode for overall acoustics and balance between gaming audio and fan noise. There's 32 gigabytes of DDR5 RAM at 5600 megahertz in this model, which is amazing for creative productivity and gaming. Now, when it comes to cooling, ROG has located all of the exhaust to the rear of this thing, pushing all that hot air away from you and also away from your mouse hand. It used to come out the side, so if you were a mouse and keyboard type of player, you were getting heat at your hand. No longer is that the case because the intake is from the sides and from the lower portion of it. And it also even vents out through the keyboard deck as well. Now, there's a massive, vapor chamber on the rear. It's sandwiched in between heat sinks. You can see the beefiness in the back, and it's a redesign. And there's even dust filters on all intake vent. Now, in total, this is a end-to-end vapor chamber with a sandwich heatsink, a tri-fan design, and extreme liquid metal on the CPU and GPU of certain SKUs. So, I mean, there's also a full HD webcam this time. I kind of spoke about it earlier, the thing that supports Windows Hello and, face unlock or face recognition. But I can demonstrate the quality for you guys on camera. And I'm pretty sure there's a lot more. So if there's anything you want me to test or cover with this device for, future videos, let me know down in the comment section below and I got you guys. Like, I have literally, genuinely enjoyed this laptop since day one. I chose, instead of the typical, let me just get this laptop, let me break out all of these benchmarks, let me do this, all this testing and stress tests and get all these numbers that really don't equate to true user experience. I just used it. Like, literally, since I got it, I just instantly hooked it up, set it up. That's the boring part. You gotta set up everything, download all the games, download all of your software and whatnot. But I just got straight to just using it as I would in a day-to-day. So there was no nerdy benchmarking and BSing and, lack of experience. There was only user experience up until this point still. So I'll do that nerdy stuff going forward for the update video and whatnot. But I just wanted to be clear about that. Like, I will continue to use and enjoy this laptop. It's literally my current go-to. My name is CJ. I know tech, so you don't have to, but I mean, y'all know everything, right? Peace.
Yeah, let's see how you do under pressure. Oh, yeah.
Yo, hey, listen, look at that. They're gonna add, ooh. Yo, listen, if you don't take my word for anything, a true gaming laptop is a true gaming laptop. And this is a true gaming laptop. That's the best way I could put it.
Been wanted this forever. I've been in the field with whatever they throw at me. Brush it off, pick myself up, moving on to the better. Okay. Hey. Yeah. Ain't no errors, baby, it's a new era. I wake up early, feeling rich like I'm Kesha. I get to the paper, boy. Extra,